Welcome back to Cards and Comics, and today I am going to be sharing part one of my Pittsburgh Pirate collection. This is a massive collection that I've put together basically since 1986. And I did step away from this collection for the most part, other than completing my Clemente base set last year. For the most part of the last 5 to 6 years, I haven't really added a lot of big pieces, and I definitely quit buying modern pirate cards for the most part. I sometimes slip, when a hot rookie comes up, you know, Brian Hayes, O'Neill. These guys come up, and I want to have a few cards of them because I'm just still a big pirate fan. However, what I want to say, and so for anyone watching this video, I'm going to talk about, the collection a little bit before I start showing it. So if you want to fast forward into the part where I'm showing the actual cards, feel free. I'm just going to talk about why I collected, why I stopped collecting, and where I'm going in the future. So the original goal of the collection, and it sounds really stupid now, but it was what I was thinking at the time then. And again, I was heavily involved in the PSA forums and set registry at one point. And so I thought I was going to basically at one point have the greatest pirate collection, PSA graded collection on earth. That was my original thought, that, I was going to grade all the team sets. I was going to get all the Hall of Famers. I was going to even collect modern rookie cards as well, and have this kind of super diverse pirate collection that focused not only just vintage, but newer cards as well. And to that end, for the newer cards, I did collect a lot of the really cool players at the time that were rookies. Pedro Alvarez, Starling Marte, Andrew McCutcheon. I had a lot of their really rare cards. I have Superfractors of McCutcheon and Marte. I have, Bowman Chrome Red Autos of Marte, Taeon, Garrett Cole at one point. Stetson Ali, I had his red refractor. And there was basically two events that really put the brakes on me collecting pirates, the way I was. One, I missed out on a few 68 3D Clementes. And I just knew, as a pirate and Clemente collector, that was, the alpha and omega card to have. Outside of the T206 Honus Wagner, it's probably one of the most important cards that you could ever get in a pirate collection. And so I just got to the point where I just didn't think I was ever, or I still don't have the card. And it's just gotten to the point where I just have gotten where I would just have to realize it's probably not going to happen. That card is just never going to be there's always someone out there who's going to want it a little bit more and have more resources than me to get it. And so it's just tough, to say you're the best pirate collector in the world if you don't have that card. Secondly, the Pirates started to sell off their team. They went through those 2 playoff runs and they didn't really do much in the playoffs. Won 1 series, that was it. And then they started trading off the team, and then a bunch of those pirate rookies busted. The ones that didn't, like Taeon and Cole, for the most part, I sold some of those cards once the player got traded. But in general, that part of the collection you'll see is pretty much just dead money, and it really killed my desire to really invest in more pirate rookies in the future. However, when players like Brian Hayes and O'Neill come up, and I want to have a few of their cards just because I'm still a big pirate fan. So I do sometimes, break my vow of chastity and buy some of those cards. Because again, as a collector and a lover of the team, I still want to have something of those players just because I feel like, I have a routine interest and still want to have some connection. However, it does, put me at a crossroads where what do I do? Do I, just sell off the collection? Do I keep, adding to it? And so to put this video together, I had to go through the collection, and it's massive. And that's why it's going to be broken up in multiple parts. And also it's, it was broken into different parts and pieces in multiple boxes. I had to kind of combine it all into one again to show a video on it. And that made me, fall in love all over again with a lot of the cards that I collected. And it made me realize which cards I don't want and which cards I do want. So I think there is going to be a culling period where I just get rid of cards that I don't feel like I need anymore. And the focus is going to be on, a few things. One is I'm a few cards away for some sets. Like I'm one card away on my Stargell base set, which is the 65. I'm a few cards away from a few team sets, so why not get those? I'm missing a few really nice Ralph Kiner cards that I should go out and get, because those are nice looking cards and cards that, to me are still pretty reasonable in the vintage area. That being said, I'm going to start the collection off with Clemente, but not my full base set. I've already shown that. If you want to go see the video on it, please go back, if you and see that, you can search in my history. You'll see that video where I go through every base card. Now, what I'm going to go through is the cards that aren't base. And these are kind of the league leaders and all the other cards that I had in that, that I didn't show in that set. But I'm going to start with the first card here, is a different kind of card. And it is a Roberto Clemente auto. And so the history of this autograph is this. It started out in a PSA DNA slab. And therefore, what I wanted it to be in a card. So we've had this program where you could give them any cut auto and they make a custom slab or a custom card out of it, and they call it the Executive Collection. And so this Executive Collection was designed to basically make the card, or make cuts into cards you could pull out of a pack. And so therefore, it would look more like something you would have actually, gotten out of again, as a card versus a cut. Basically I wanted a card because that's what I collect. I collect cards. And if you look on the back here, it does have, this, kind of certification number. If my camera ever would work, which it never does. There we go. So again, it has a certain number here, and that cert number actually corresponds to, I believe, the PSA cert that was originally attached to the card. So this was in a PSA DNA slab, as a cut, and then was made into a card. So yeah, it's definitely lived a long life in my collection. It's got a chip out of it. Kind of sad there. It's gone through multiple moves. So it's just my only autograph. It's not theoretically pack pull, but I know it's real. And it came from not a collector, but a dealer who is very trustworthy. So, I'm very happy that I at least have an autograph of Clemente, that I feel very confident that it's real. It's not one of those pack pull transcendent cards, but hey, it's still a Clemente auto. Next up is two of the same card. Sometimes I get the same card more than once. Here is a 61 post Clemente, and this card comes in two versions. It comes in a perforated version. So I believe if you sent in for the sheets, it came perforated, and you would just kind of, tear off the cards basically. If you cut them off the box, they have a line around them. So, you have to have the full line to get the card to be graded. So there's two versions of this card. There's the perforated and there's the box version, cut from a box version. So here's the first one. And then here's my second one. Again, they're both the perforated version, both 8s. My goal was obviously to put together the 61 post set. So if you count my 61 Pirate team sets that I'm actually in the process of building, it's the 61 top set in PSA 8 and 8, 5, or 9. So 2 of those. A 61 top set autographed. So that's set 3. Set 4 is a 61 cons Pirate team set. And then a 61 post Pirate team set. So that's 5 team sets from the 61s I'm trying to build. So that is very much overkill, but hey, this is what collectors do. We collect. And so And going back and looking at my collection, I've got so many pieces put together of those sets, but I haven't added to some of those sets in so many years that I'm just really wanting to get some of those cards again and really starting on those sets and really start getting those closer to completion, because there are really cool sets and cards. Next up is a 62 post. So it's the same photo this year. So this is an actual one cut from a box, and you can see this one actually has the complete line around it. Now, here's the thing that you have to remember about these cards in SGC versus PSA. So in postcards and bazooka cards, SGC a lot of times doesn't count off for missing the line, and PSA is dogmatic that you have to have that black line. I mean, it's like night and day. Like, if you don't have the full black line, the card doesn't get a number grade. SGC and does not go to that length, and so you can have basically part of the black line missing, and you will get a grade. PSA won't grade it. This one has a full intact black line, so I definitely wanted to get it, so that maybe a crossover. Next up is again starting the league leader. So I don't have the big league leader Clemente card, so I just missed it. I didn't think league leaders would blow up like they did, so I'm missing the Maze Aaron Clemente, but I do have the in an 8.5 the Allen Clemente Aaron. Very cool card. 8.5, the mythical unicorn grade. So there you go. Great card. Really fun, to have this card in this shape. And I've again had this card for quite a while. Next up is my 68 O-Pee-Chee PSA 7. Again, O-Pee-Chee cards are really tough. You can see the weird gray back on these cards versus the yellow. Tell it's pretty easily a O-Pee-Chee card. Next up is the 68. So I got two of these cards. So 68, Manager's Dream. So Tony Oliva, Chico Cardenas, and Bob Clemente. So I've got an 8.5 and beautiful card. There's the back. And then I also have, and again, I don't have very many of these, but I do have this card in PSA 9. So I've got an 8.5 and a 9. So there you go. Oliva, Chico Cardenas, and Bob Clemente. I probably got the 9 without remembering I had the 8.5. Or maybe I got the 8.5 without remembering I had the 9. I don't know, but I usually don't do that. Just because I don't like to have that much money tied up in a card I already own, but I did. Next up here is the Topps game card, and it's a 7 because I honestly don't like this card in this set. They're pretty common, and so I'll get an 8 or an 8.5 or a 9 at some point. I just got this card because I think it went really cheap in an eBay auction, and so I just grabbed it. It's not a card I really am worried about, eventually getting. O-Pee-Chee again, 72. So this is a 9OC. So on the set registry, this would be a 7. Obviously off center. So, nothing much to say about that. There's the back. The back actually a little better centered. But it is what it is. This is in the old days, you would send that card in an SGC hoping it would get like an 8. People were going to hate that, but that's the truth. That's how it used to go. Next up is the in action Clemente. And again, if you remember the video on the Pirate team sets, I definitely try to get 8.5s or 9s if they're reasonable, but 8.5 if I can. And here is the in action Clemente and an 8.5. There you go on the back. 8.5 Clemente coming at you. And last but not least is just another oddball. Now, I don't know if I show this in that video, but here is the KDKA, 68, basically Pirate team set, and this is a 7.5. They're big cards. It's a good photo. This photo is used quite often for Clemente cards. There was a whole bunch of, I think, postcards that came out that you see autographs on. using this photo, in spring training photo. So it's not uncommon to see that kind of photo with Clemente used in, and like postcards and things like that, because, it's just one of those, I guess, press photos that got circulated really widely. So that when I see it, I'm like, oh, it's the same photo. That's on a lot of stuff. All right, here we go. My small Ralph Kiner collection here. Again, we'll start with the rookie, and I have it in a 7.5. I'm glad I got it, when I got it, because I didn't pay much for this card in a 7.5, honestly. It was kind of a placeholder card, but again, it was like, to me, it looked really nice for the grade, and so I just went ahead and grabbed it, thinking I would get an 8 at some point, but I don't know if I'm going to upgrade that card, honestly. Sorry, I took a drink. I'm not losing my voice here. Okay, next up is a 49 Bowman Kiner. PSA 8. This one is super nice. For one thing, this card generally is off center, but the color of the background is a lot of times very faded. And the blue on this one is very bright. And so this card is just really clean and nice. Show you the back. It's just a really nice card. I didn't show you the back on the 48 Bowman. Sorry. I said I'd start showing backs more often. There you go. But there you go. 48 Bowman, Ralph Kiner, PSA 8. And last but not least is my 53 Topps Kiner. Now, believe it or not, I actually had this card multiple times. Multiple copies of it at one point. And I finally did sell one of these during the great, boom last year. Just because it was like, I didn't feel like I needed to have 2 copies of this card. But this is like an older graded. But this one is just, to me, it's very nice. It's a little off left or right. But other than that, it just presents really beautiful. And again, it's all about that chipping down there in that corner, or that black part of this card. That's where you run into problems, and this card's very clean. So again, a little off center, but almost packed fresh gloss and color. And that, unfortunately, is all the Kiner cards I own. I don't have the 50. I don't have the 51 Bowman or the 52 Bowman. Just kind of sad that that's where my my Kiner cards end. Sorry, I'm reaching for my some of my Stargell cards, because up next is Willie Stargell. So again, this is part 1, so I'm only focusing on the Hall of Fame players for the most part right now. So this will be part 1, and then part 2 and part 3 are going to be, let's say, more of the team sets and pre-war cards, things like that. So this is the Hall of Fame players. Here we go. Should have probably said that earlier. Maybe I'll do a little edit on that part. So here we go. Stargell PSA 8 rookie card. I actually had this in an 8.5 at one point. That was beautiful. This one is off center a little bit. I know what I paid for it. I paid $280 for this card. It's a little off center, so I got a little discount on it at the time. But I had the 8.5, sold it for $500. Just bad mistakes. Bad. Should have never done that. But I have an 8. It's a little off center. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever look for another one or upgrade it. I'm glad I have the rookie. Now, next card is very, very hard for me to look at because of what I did when I opened the package. So it's a beautiful card. It just needs a new holder. But you can see that when I cut it open, the knife went right across the card. So now I've got a knife cut right on top of the card. And look how nice that card is. It's an 8.5, 64 Stargell. Yeah, and that's why you don't play with knives, boys and girls, and not knowing what you're doing. I was going really fast, just slicing open packages, and I cut too deep and went right across the face of the card. And you can see the back is perfect. The card isn't damaged, and obviously it's a beautiful card. You look in the back, there's no damage to anywhere on this card. that I can see, you know, to get to say it's not an 8.5. So when I get it reholdered, yeah, I just gotta, you know, bite the bullet and get it reholdered. But it is a beautiful card. And next up, again, I'm missing the 65. So here's the 66. Again, a little off center, and it is, you know, a card I've been targeting to upgrade for a little bit because, again, when they were really cheap, it wasn't hard to upgrade. And this has got that ugly stain on the back too. So this card's kind of marginal. I agree. This is definitely not the best 66 Stargell I could probably get. So I'm looking to upgrade that one. Next up is my 66 Bird Bucks Belters with Don Clendenin and Stargell. So here's my 8.5. Woohoo! And then next up is the O-Pee-Chee version in a 7. Again, you know, cool card. You don't see very often the O-Pee-Chee version of this card. And you'll see I don't have as many O-Pee-Chee Stargell cards as I do other players I own, but I do have a pretty good one. 67. So this is one of my favorite photos of Stargell. This is when he looked, you know, still pretty young. You know, he kind of aged fast. I think he went from being the new kid on the block to Pops, it seemed like overnight in his photo. So 67 Stargell, just an 8, but it's a beautiful 8. And again, 67s are really nice if you can get them centered and with good color. Here is the Pit Power. Again, basically the same card as the 66 card, double card, Stargell and Clendenin. You know, what's really sad is they never did a special card with Clemente and Maz or Clemente and Stargell, which is kind of weird. If you think about all the special cards they've ever done, they never did one with those two guys on it. Now, next up, this card right here doesn't seem like it's going to be much. But it's literally one of the cards that I get the most questions about from set registry guys. Because it's such a rare card, and they quit basically grading this card because they're all shorties, you know, and you can look at this card and you can see it's short in the holder. But it is a 68 O-Pee-Chee Stargell, and it's a PSA 7. But you can look at it top to bottom, and it looks short, right? So, you know, this is an issue for anyone collecting cards in the day, you know, the 60s and 70s. There are a few issues, and you have to kind of go one by one, but there are cards out there that were cut naturally short. 71 Clemente's another one, O-Pee-Chee Clemente's another one. So there something happened in the factory that when they printed that card or cut that card, they were all just shorter than standard cards. And so PSA at some point said, we're not going to grade the card anymore because basically if you can find one that's not cut short, which, you know, could happen, you could trim the card and we'll never tell. So instead of allowing people to have this big tolerance for that one card, PSA, a lot of cases say, we're just not going to grade it. And so they just either severely limit the amount of grades for that card. If it doesn't measure perfectly, it's just going to get min size. And so if you send in a 68 Stargell, good chance, O-Pee-Chee Stargell, by the way, it's going to get min size. So I have one that's graded. Before they kind of figured out they were all pretty much short. And yeah, and I got it, you know, I bought it and I grabbed it. And a lot of Stargell collectors who are putting their registry set together don't have it. And so they call me and say, can you sell me that card? And I'm like, no, I still want it. I'm still putting together my Stargell set, so I'm going to keep it. My tops is a 9. Again, you know, the differences in the back, I just like showing them because they're so drastically different between O-Pee-Chee and tops. But, you know, beautiful 9. You know, again, with Stargell back in the day, you could, you know, when compared to Clemente, he was so cheap that I could sometimes jump up and get a 9 on a few issues, and I definitely got one there. The 69 Stargell is an 8.5. Again, oh, sorry. Just a really nice card. Love 8.5s. Next up is the 70 Stargell. Again, just an 8, but you know, again, I wasn't really as concerned with the set. In fact, I started getting Clemente 8.5s after I had built most of these sets already. So this card was already in my possession when I started upgrading my Clementes to 8.5s. And so I never carried through with Stargell and Maz like I did Clemente, because I was just really focused on getting those those cards upgraded or just completed that set. Now here is some anomaly in my collection. The 71 Topps Stargell is somewhere in my collection. and I know I have one, or at least I remember I had one, and so either I sold it and I don't remember it, or it's in a different box. But I do have the next best thing, which is the O-Pee-Chee in an 8. And again, you can see the different color back, the green versus the yellow. So here's the O-Pee-Chee 8. So if I can't find it, then I'll need to get this card as well, the Topps card as well. So that's 2 base Stargell cards I would need to get, which kind of upsets me because I thought I had these sets kind of done, or at least pretty close, and missing 2 cards just kind of sucks because I really thought I had it. Here's a card that actually to me doesn't look that bad, and it says it's 8OC, but that card's pretty close in my opinion to being straight. It's the 72 O-Pee-Chee Stargell, 8OC. Again, O-Pee-Chee cards are just notoriously for being off center. 72 O-Pee-Chee Stargell in action. Now the other 72 Stargell, I know for a fact the 72 regular Stargell, I believe, is a PSA 9. It's either an 8.5 or 9. It is in my 72 set. I didn't go through and pull it just for this video, but you'll see it in my 72 set when I go through my sets. Next up is 73 O-Pee-Chee. There you go. Very, very nice card. And again, I definitely have focused a lot on O-Pee-Chee cards here with Stargell just because they were so cheap. Yeah, it looks like I don't have the 73 Topps. I don't know. Maybe I sold it. I don't know. This is like, why you go through this? I thought at one point I just needed the 65, but now that I'm going through the sets, I'm like, wow, I can't find my 71. I can't find my 73. So if I have to go out and get them, maybe there'll be fun targets when I go to the National to see if I can find them. No expectation if I can find them, but there'll be cards that are on my watch out list for sure. Now 74 O-Pee-Chee, again, is a super tough issue to find. So any cards from this set in good shape, like this card, the 7, is just really, really, really rare. Here's the 74 O-Pee-Chee Stargell. And then here's the Topps, which is a 9. There you go. And then here is the 75 O-Pee-Chee Stargell 8. So again, I have more O-Pee-Chees than I do Topps. It's just really weird, but that's how it worked out, I guess. I don't know. Not how I originally planned it, for sure, when I was putting all these cards together, but definitely seems that way. 75 Topps 8.5. Again, there's the back. So you can start seeing that in these later 70 cards, you're just going to start seeing more 9s and 8.5. So here's a 76 Topps. I don't have this O-Pee-Chee. One of the O-Pee-Chees that's very tough, a friend of mine, Russ, that I did a video with from Indiana, he's very convinced that the 76 O-Pee-Chee set's the hardest set. I think it's 74 O-Pee-Chee and 67. But, he thinks the 76 is really tough too. And judging by the fact I actually don't own hardly any 76 O-Pee-Chees, he may have a point. He may have a point. 76 Kellogg's. Again, Kellogg's cards aren't very attractive, in my opinion, so I've never really grabbed too many of them, but here's the 76. Evidently, I'll need them if I want to put a master set together. 77 Stargell. Again, it's an 8, so it's kind of disappointing. It's just an 8, but hey, I at least own it, so I don't have to go out and find it. Here's my 78 Stargell, and it is a 9. There you go. 78 Stargell and a 9. My 79 Stargell, so I have both. So here's the Topps. Now this card is somewhat rare. And in 8 it's kind of tough, and in 9 and 10 it's really tough. So this card is one of those anomalies that is hard to find. It's always really off center. So getting a 9 and a 10, this card is really tough. So this card, it's just an 8, but it's still a little bit on the tougher side. And then here is the 79 Peachy version of it. Again, you can see the wider back. So then here we go. The 80 tops is in my 80 top set. So we start in 81. So here's my 81 Donruss. That's a 9. Again, you know, not a bad photo. I kind of like that because not a lot of him taking fielding at first base photos of Stargell. So Donruss did a good job. Here is the 81 Fleer, and that's a 10. Again, you know, not a huge population rarity on that card, but it's cool to have a 10 on any card. Kellogg's, you know, it's kind of a cool card with the yellow border matching his uniform. So my second Kellogg's card there. 81 tops. So my base 81 tops is a 9. There you go. And anyone who collects 81 tops know that these are probably some of the worst printing cards ever made. From centering to print dots to just terrible paper stock. 81 tops is just terrible to try to find good grades. Here's the old GAI back in the day. Willie Stargell on card auto. Hopefully it's authentic. You know, this is early, not early, and this is kind of their second generation flip. Who knows? I picked it up really cheap. So it's been in the collection for a while. 82 tops. Stargell in a 9. And then 82 Peachy in an 8. So again, showing that I do have a nice amount of Peachy cards. Here's the in action from 82 tops in an 8. Or sorry, in a 9. Again, an action card from 82 tops. 82 Donruss. There you go. Stargell in a 9. And again, these cards, or sorry, an 8. These cards in 9 and 10 actually wouldn't be tough to pick up. I just haven't made it a focus. 82 Flair. Probably one of the worst sets ever made because for some reason, all the cards are out of focus. And so if you look at the set in totality, it's just painful to look at all these cards just out of focus. And that's just how the cards are. There's nothing to do with, you know, post-production or whatever. It's just they decided to make the set as out of focus as humanly possible, and they succeeded in that. 83 Donruss. So again, we're getting into the last year of Stargell's playing. So 83 Donruss and a 10. Again, it's a 10, but you know, not a tough card. 83 Fleer, a 9. And again, Fountain of Youth with Pete Rose. Pretty cool card in a 9. So that's it. That is the Stargell collection. So a lot of cards there. And again, 73 and 71. I got to look through those boxes again. I didn't go through my 70s collection because I just thought I had those cards. So I'll double check to see if I have them. You know, is that, you know, was one of those reasons when you go through all these cards, you kind of go like, oh, wow, there's some stuff missing. So I'm pretty sure I have them. But if I don't, then again, I said, well, there'll be targets for my next, you know, adventure at the National. Because that's, you know, what you do. You go to the National, and one of your goals should be is to fill holes in your collection, right? Quick edit to the video. I did go through my 70s cards, and I found the 73 Topps Stargell. I did have one in just the wrong box. So I couldn't find the 71. Found the 73, so I'm missing the 71 and 65 Stargells. But thank God I'm not missing the 73 because I thought I was losing my mind during the video. So quick edit, and I do have the 73. All right, moving on. All right, so moving on in this long video. Sorry about that, but I got a lot of cards. A lot of pirate cards. Now, my mass collection is kind of fun. So as I go through it, I'll show you some really, really cool cards. Now, I'll start off with probably my most favorite card for a long time. It's not my favorite card anymore just because, you know, I've gotten other cards that I like better. But from a pirate collection standpoint, it's super rare, super cool. It's a rookie card, and it is the 67 Cons Wiener PSA 3 Mazeroski rookie. Now, I graded this myself. I got it from a guy on eBay raw and just submitted it knowing it was going to be low grade. But these cards have stains. They're just really hard to find in good shape. I mean, I saw a PSA 1 Clemente bring big bucks. So just having this card, and if I could ever find the Clemente, those cards, this is the first year of cons. They're tough. They're super rare short prints for the most part. They're all low pop. And just having one in a grade above 1 or 2 is tough. So I thought this was a win to get in a 3. Again, you can see this is the years they don't have backs. And you can see the staining and just how hard it was to get these cards graded. So I thought, but I just love the image of it. And I really think it's cool as a companion piece to the actual rookie. So on the rookie front, I do have the rookie. So here you go. I've had it for a long time, and I feel like it's pre-8.5 grading, but to me, I don't know if I'll find a better one that's not in a 9 holder. It's almost perfectly centered, and it's just a beautiful Mazeroski rookie. I mean, I look at that card and go, I don't know if I can get one better. I just don't think I can get one that much better. Unless it's in the 9 holder and it looks like it's just packed fresh, super glossy. I would say the only thing that's really bad about this card is a little lacking in color, or glossiness. It doesn't have that packed fresh gloss color. So maybe if I found one that was just centered with the corners like it has, with that more glossy color to it, that would be a card I would be interested in. But that's a very nice one. Next up is probably one of his hardest cards to get in generality, which is the 58 tops. And here's an 8. Just a beautiful card. It's super colorful, good photo, just iconic. 58s are one of those cards where if they're got good color, white borders, and they're centered, they're probably one of the best cards ever made. When they got print dots and out of focus, bad color, off center, yellow borders, all that stuff, they're really ugly. So this set can either be really awesome looking or just really ugly. And this card is one of those ones that just pops out at you. Beautiful card. I just love it. And I missed a card. I don't know what I'm thinking. I missed a card, guys. All right. We'll go back. So this card is so massive. It's like ridiculous card. There we go. All right. Here we go. 58 Hires Root Beer Mazeroski SGC 88. So this is the holder that they use for this card, which is the same holder they put the T3s in. And it's ridiculously big. It's massive. But it's such a cool card. And it's such a cool card to get an 8 card with the holder. Just love it. And so this is like one of my favorite cards of all time. I hate the holder. PSA does not put it in this ginormous holder, so I might cross it over with them at some point. But the card itself is very nice. And you can see the back of it here with the full tab. So, oops, didn't mean to hit the camera. So here is the 1958 Mazeroski Hires Root Beer. Again, a beautiful card in a ridiculously sized holder from SGC. One of my favorite cards, just because it's so obscure. With the tab on it, it makes it even harder. So love it, and it's just one of my favorite cards to show off because it's just such an oddball, cool card. And again, one of these days I might send it a PSA because they don't do this giant T3 size slab. They give it an actual holder that looks a little bit nicer and more cut to size. It fits really nicely with my 8.5 Clemente, which I still can't believe I own that card because I just got lucky and got it at a super cool discount. So that 58 Clemente and 8.5 is probably the steal of my life because I didn't pay what I probably should have for that card, and it's gone up tremendously since I got it. So it makes it even more of a steal. Not trying to brag, I can't believe I own that card. That's like one of those cards that you would never thought. I mean, just having an 8 is tough. Having an 8.5 is ridiculous. 59 Maz. I've owned this card in 8.5 like 3 or 4 times. It's one of his easier cards to find, so that's why I have an 8.5 versus just an 8. It's a nice card. I mean, look at that white back. It's really packed fresh, but it's really simple to find that card in an 8 or an 8.5. Next up, 60 Maz. Probably one of his, I mean, any 60 when it's nice like this is just awesome to look at. The pink background or the pink name block there is really cool. I just like this card a lot. It's just a fun card, and worth some money. It's not his cheapest card, so it's fun to have it. Now, this card right here, I have multiples of this, but I pulled the 8.5 just to show it to you because I really wanted to kind of just, bask in the glory of some of my 61. So here's my 61 Maz short print, they say. Short print. 8.5. See the back. So fun card. 8.5. One of my, obviously I need it for my team set. And there you go. Now, going into the postcards, again, you saw my Clemente. So here's my Maz. Really fun card. And again, this is the perforated. It's only a 6, but again, tough cards to get. So, but again, I haven't put a lot of focus on it. If I had, I probably would have upgraded that card a while back. Now, here is probably, like I talk about the 58 Clemente being, I can't believe I own that card. I can't believe I own this card, which is a 62 Maz 8.5. Again, this card is super, super tough. Sometimes it's cut short, so it gets min-sized a lot. This one is pretty razor. It's just a well-centered card. A little short left to right. You can see how it fits in that holder. So again, PSA in modern times may min-size this kind of card now, but it definitely looks like a presentation set card, honestly, the way it's kind of cut. But it's still a great card, and this card is so hard to find in anything above a 7. And so it's hard to believe I have an 8.5. Here's the All-Star card. Just a cool card of Maz. And again, all 62s are tough. So having an 8 is where, to me, is where it's at. I love that card. Now, 63 Fleer. It's a good photo, but again, 63 Fleers are kind of boring. Honestly, even though I'm trying to put the set together. Again, something I've been working on for a lot of years. I'm actually working on the 63 Top set. And that's a collection I've never even shown anyone. Again, kind of like my pirate collection. I don't show it because it's like 2/3 of the way done. And I'm still missing like the Koufax and Mantle. So like I don't have 2 of the bigger cards in the set. Or the Pete Rose rookie. So it's like until I get one of those big cards, I don't even want to talk about it because, until you get I've got the Clemente, I've got the Maze, I got the Aaron, I've got the Banks, I've got, all these big cards, but I don't have some of the big cards, the big cards. And so until I get one of those, I'm not going to really talk about it as being a set yet because it's just kind of me tinkering with something. 64 Maz. It's a nice looking card. But again, not too tough. And it's one of those cards where I feel like, if you're just going to get a Hall of Fame rookie card or Hall of Fame card of Maz, I'd recommend that card because it's not too hard to get and it still looks good. 65 O-Pee-Chee. Now, 8 stain. So, I don't really see the stain. Maybe it's on the front somewhere. I've looked for it multiple times. I don't know exactly where the stain is. I can't see it. Maybe you can see it in the comments. I don't know. If you can really see where the stain is. I mean, here's the back. Usually when they have stains, you can just, they're just obvious stains. Maybe there's some wax residue that they're seeing on it. Maybe one of those cards where you just take it out and rub a pantyhose on it, maybe get rid of it. But it's an 8ST, 65 O-Pee-Chee. Next up is the base top 65, and it's a 9. So first real 9. And then looking down here, there you go, bright blue. Here's another 65 O-Pee-Chee. Again, here's a 7.5. So I did replace that card with a 7.5, or got a new version of the card that's a 7.5. So 2 65 O-Pee-Chee Mazes, but this is the nicer one of the two, just based on the grade. But again, the other one, I don't know really where that stain is. 65 tops embossed Maz. There's a Clemente version. I've just never been that interested in these cards because they kind of look ugly and they don't really look like the subject that they're portraying. But there's the Maz and an 8. 66 Maz. Yeah, just a solid 8. Nothing too much on that card. 67 Maz. There you go. 8.5. Nice card. Again, anytime you see an 8.5, it's always a good day. And then the 68, I mean, obviously this card should be a 9 by now. I mean, I don't know why I still have an 8. But I do. There you go, an 8. But again, I never thought, the cards would go up so much as they have. But this card should definitely be a little higher grade just because they're pretty easy to find. 69 Mats actually is a little harder to find. And the one card I am missing in my Maz collection is I don't have the 70. Just for whatever reason, I don't have the 70. I have the 71. Here it is. It's a nice 8. Again, all 71s are just fun for me because they're always a little tougher to grade. But I'm missing the 70, and then the 72 is in my team set. So when I show some of the team sets, you'll see the Maz there. But that's it. That's my main Hall of Fame collection of Pirate cards. Now my pre-war Hall of Famers in a different box, so that'll be in my next video. So this is round 1 of my Pirate collection. I know it's long, but I wanted to show it, and I wanted to give time and some effort to it because, again, this part of the collection is the Hall of Fame, basically the main Hall of Famers from the 40s, 50s, and 60s and 70s. Next up is going to be my pre-war and just basically pre-war to like 79. And it's a giant box of cards, and it's massive. So I don't know how I'm going to split up. I may split up like pre-war in one video, 60s in one video. I don't know. I mean, this video is already 40 minutes long, so it's going to take a long time to get through this collection, guys. It's so big. So hopefully you understand and let me, go through the cards. So there you have it, guys. That is my round 1. Basically, the main Hall of Fame Pirates in my collection. Pre-war will be next, followed by, probably break that next collection up into pre-war and then sets, then modern. So it's going to be 4 or 5 videos on my Pirate collection. It's so massive. So there it is, guys. Pirate collection round 1. Hope you enjoy. Let me know in the comments what you think. And I'll see you next time on Cards and Comics. Bye.